Hi, everybody. Welcome to A Paranormal Mediums with Dr. Julie Starr and myself, Fayon, Paulina Filippelli, lots of names. um, so much to talk about tonight. Julie and I did a quick trip to St. Augustine. And if you haven't been to St. Augustine, then definitely should go if you are a spirit enthusiast like we are.
And that is in Florida.
St. Augustine, Florida. And it is the oldest state or the oldest city in America, actually. And so there has been a lot that has gone on, obviously, in that amount of time. When the Spanish conquered it, they needed to protect it. And obviously the Native Americans were there at the time. So there was a lot of tragedies that happened, including the yellow fever that killed thousands of people. So when you go to St. Augustine, what they always tell you is anywhere you walk in St. Augustine, you're walking on at least 10 bodies. And I say 10 bodies because that's how they would stack them. There were so many. So there's in every part of St. Augustine, you are literally stepping on a grave. And it's sad in a lot of ways because of such tragedy. But there is so much spirit activity that it's, and I said this last time to Julie, it's not if you're going to get any activity, it is how much you're going to get.
Right.
Yeah. And Julie's been there before. And so it was really good for her to come back to it. Right. And
and for those interesting, it was a very interesting trip.
It was.
But the coolest thing was being there with you and just like hanging out with you. So our idea of a girls' night out is to go at midnight to the most haunted building in the United States, which is the old jail in St. Augustine. Until 2 a.m. That's our idea. Girls' night out.
That's our wild night out. Yeah, and I swear, when you find that person that gets you and loves the same things you love, it's magic. So
hold on to them with all your heart.
and I plan on it. I plan on it with every fiber of my being. So yeah, we just had such a blast, and we're going to be doing it next week again. We're going on another ghost hunting tour, but
this time it's closer to my neck of the woods. So last time it was in your neck of the woods. So we'll be in Charlottesville, Virginia this time for Sci-Fest, and then we will go on a tour. A paranormal tour at the Civil War Museum.
I know, and it's interesting. Julie and I are not just mediums. We are, intuitives, but we also do remote viewing. So the Sci-Fest is for remote viewers, and it's this massive conference with some of the founders and well-known people in the remote viewing space. And if you don't know what remote viewing is, it is basically what the CIA had developed. And I believe its origins were in Russia, actually. But the CIA utilized it for spying. And that is where they would get like intuitive psychics to view spaces, view locations, top secret places, people, things like that. With these intuitives, and so they developed a whole process with it, which is very complicated. And I remember when Julie and I first went to school for it, we took classes for it. I think I said to you, I'm probably the worst intuitive in the world, and I hate this so much because it's so different.
It's very different. It's just not the same. It's very different. It's more scientific.
Yeah, Absolutely. But you know what? I found such a love for it. And Julie and I just, there's so much you could do with it. We even are taking courses on psychic detective work, and which utilizes remote viewing and it's just amazing things that you can do with your abilities. And of course, mediumship and ghost hunting being one of them.
Right, right.
Right?
Well, we'll even be doing like spoon bending and psychokinesis and things like that. I used to do that when I was a kid. Not spoon bending, but you and I both, we shared this with each other. I'm like, oh my God, we are just both the same kind of weird.
Yeah,
Because we were kids. We didn't know each other as kids.
No.
We would try to move objects with our minds like this, and we're like, move.
Do it.
My dad walked in one day and he said, Julie, what in the are you doing? I said, I'm trying to move this with my mind and it will not move.
I used to think, I'm like, I know it moved just a little bit. I know it. Like, I would sit there and sadly enough, because I was very shy and didn't have too many friends, I probably because I did this, but I would sit there and like try to move like the salt shaker across the table. And I would sit there and my mom would be like, what is wrong with you? What are you doing?
Yeah, same. So I guess somehow we came from the same pod somehow.
Absolutely. I definitely agree. I don't think there's anybody quite like us. So that's why we're a paranormal medium.
Yeah. But we are normal in a weird kind of way.
Yeah, this is our normal. So yeah.
It is our normal.
Yeah. And there's and anybody can really do what we're doing. As I always say to people, everybody has this ability, and everybody has the ability to connect with spirits and go on your own ghost hunting adventures too.
Yes.
So yeah,
it's just a matter of doing it and developing it.
Yeah.
And so for
absolutely.
us, we like to take a lot of classes because you never stop developing, and it's just an ongoing.
Yeah, and I don't think I'll ever stop taking classes. There's just so much to learn. Yeah. And we can say it very easily, oh yeah, anybody can do this, but one thing is there are certain things in place. There are things that you need to be aware of when you do when you tap into spirits and things like that. Protections being one of them. We spoke about that last week. Always protect yourself from what is unseen, and also, of course, from what is seen, right?
Yes.
So, but protecting yourself from your space, because a lot of the time spirits will want to attach themselves. If you think about it like this, right? Spirits, they're excited. A lot of them are very excited to connect with people that can see them, or if you're on a ghost hunting tour, they're very talkative or communicative, and so some of them do want to come back home with you, and you don't, if you're not trained and you don't know what to do, then that can be a serious problem. Yeah. And Julie definitely can speak to that for sure.
Yeah, I can definitely speak to that. And afterwards, yes, I took care of both Dayon and myself by burning frankincense resin. It's a very powerful smoke. But before we even left, we tell them to stay where they are, and we go where we go. But in some of these places also, it's not just discarnate spirits. There are dark forces there. And we could feel that. The tour guides who are paranormal researchers certainly, shared that with us, that there are dark forces there. And people, for example, from Ripley's have come out of a certain room with scratches and things like that. And they and I did not even go into that room because, we don't need that.
No.
And and they're trapped. Some of these spirits are trapped. So we're there. We're not just, it's not just entertainment for us.
Yeah,
we go
absolutely.
in.
Hi, Lori. Sorry,
Hey,
Lori.
We go in with our equipment. We go within our equipment, and we are after the evidence that they're there, that you can see in a more scientific way, objective way.
Yeah.
It's not just that we can connect with them, but also I'm there opening portals and trying to help them leave. And so I do believe I was successful, at least at Ripley's, but my guides did not let me open any portals at the old jail. They said it was too dangerous. So.
Oh, absolutely. Because not only are there, people that have passed being in the jail, but there is also another portal in there that has transient spirits. So sometimes you get them. Do you remember they were talking about the cat or the chicken that came in, and they come from everywhere. There are people that have passed nearby that for some reason get stuck in this jail. And it's, I mean, the spirit boxes were going crazy when we were there. And one of the tour guides knew that we were mediums and wanted to sort of test it out, and put a, he called it a portal. It was a spirit box with a
amplifier.
With an amplifier in it. And he's like, I set it up and there's no activity. As soon as Julie and I went downstairs, it was nuts with multiple spirits talking. And there was this one, it's very interesting because not just is this jail famous, but some of their spirits are as well. And there's one, when you go to the old jail, they talk about, the conditions. The problem with that is that it's a jail, it's a county jail. And because they had this sort of labor deal with, with some of the construction, I believe it was like companies and things like that, they kept people there. And then also, brought people in or, brought them to jail for no good reason. Like one famous story is of, her name is Mary. She was actually she was a young girl that wore her dress 2 inches too high above her ankle. And they put her in jail. And it's a very sad story. The problem there was that because they didn't have any electricity, any plumbing, the conditions were horrible, and people would get sick and die within 2 years. So the thought was nobody actually ever, anybody that came in never left. And poor Mary was one of those people. She did nothing particularly wrong, but ended up being sucked in by this, this jail.
And she got pregnant while she was.
Right. She wasn't when she came in, and she was when she was there. It was horrific. People lived living nightmares, and you can imagine the tragedy and the energy in this space. In light of that, there were some other spirits that were, very protective. I think I spoke about him. I call him Joe. I've met him a couple times, and he made a couple appearances while we were there. Very nice guy. When I first met him, I asked him if he needed help. Well, he actually said, "Help me." And so I was like, "Do you want me to help you cross over?" And he said, "No." And then I asked him why, and he said, "Because I need to protect this space." So some of these spirits are there to actually help the others, but still not knowing that, and what I think is, because they went to jail, they think that maybe if they go to the light, it's not going to be the light. I feel like a good energy with that is that some spirits fear going to the light because they think they've done wrong and that they're not going to go there. But then Others, as we witnessed heavily at the Ripley's Museum, are being
Trapped.
held there
They're
by a
trapped.
negative spirit.
Yeah.
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 We captured some of that on the spirit box. So we should like tell the audience what a spirit box is. I mean, they may not know what that is.
Absolutely.
And it's basically now the ones that and I forgot to bring mine up here. I don't know if you have yours with you. The ones that Thayana and I have are just simple little, they look like little transistor radios, and they'll scan AM and FM, and you get all the static and the white noise, and the spirits will use that static to speak. But the ones that they had at the old jail and that they also had at Ripley's, and we can talk a little bit about Ripley's too, that's not just a museum, believe you me.
Yeah.
They emit
We didn't
nothing
even
but
know.
white. Oh yeah. They do nothing but emit white noise. So it's not even scanning radio stations, that it's just white noise. And we've got some really clear like words and short phrases on it. It was interesting, you know. Yeah. And at the and Thayon has some that she's gonna play. I don't know how well it's gonna come across Zoom. But we'll see how it comes across Zoom.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, but don't mind the video because, you know, Julie and I, we do a lot of ghost hunting. However, we just bought these cameras.
Oh my, did not work that well.
It caught the video, but we didn't put it on night mode. And so it is crazy looking. So I'd rather just have you listen to the audio, but I don't think that's going to happen. So divert your eyes and just listen.
That's us walking around doing our thing and, you know, being silly at times. Yeah. And there's also one that hopefully you have it, that picture that you have with the cold spot in my forehead.
I do. You know what? Give me 1 second. I'm going to grab my my phone because I'm going to send the picture. Because I want everybody to see the most incredible. And
I have mine right here. Well, I don't know. I can't. I guess you would have to do it from yours though, because I don't know.
If you can Slack it to me right now, I can pull it
up. Okay. So, do you want to? While I'm doing that, you want to tell the story about that?
Yes.
The cold spot on my head and what the infrared thermometers are.
Yes. Okay. So we were utilizing infrared thermometers, and they check for heat and cold signatures. So obviously, if you're living, your signature is going to be a yellow to an orange color. Everything else that's cold, steel, things like that are going to be a blue or a black, you know, without any kind of heat, right? So we were opening up a portal for the spirits. We went into one space where nobody was, and you know, trying to help some of these spirits. But I just happened to flip up my my infrared device and notice something on Julie. And Julie, do you have it? Did you Slack?
I just sent it to you. And what you see there, while you're pulling it up, I'll talk. What you see there's a cold spot. There's a blue spot right where my third eye is. And when she did that, that's when I was opening up a portal. And we were getting voices on the spirit box. One person came across sounding very upset. Another person said escape. And there was a couple other things, but you'll play it because I don't remember exactly what they said. And my spy cam stopped working in that moment. So
really?
That's
right.
Yeah, we had these. Yeah. We bought these little spy cams, and we didn't have it on. We thought we had it on night vision, but it wasn't. Look at that. And I took one of Thayon, and hers looks the way it's supposed to be. So what you're seeing here is the temperature. So the temperature of a human being is warm, and you're going to have the yellows and the oranges and reds. But look at that right in the center of my forehead, right where my third eye would be. And it's when I open that portal. So that has just blown me away. And I showed
Yeah.
that to the paranormal investigator at the old jail, because this was at Ripley's. And he's been doing this work since the 1980s, just all over the United States. He said he's never seen anything like that.
Yeah. So that indicates that there is a cold spot in her forehead, whereas it typically would be round. Yeah. And
while I was opening a portal.
And that's her third eye. So she was so she was opening it up. And I love this because, people think that when you talk about opening up your third eye, that it means that like you're imagining this. Well, here's physical proof when somebody's opening up a portal or their eye that there is a physical,
I'll call it evidence to suggest, not proof. Since I'm a psychologist, you really can't prove anything.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's evidence to suggest that there's really something there and something going on.
Oh, yeah.
And when I do that, Theon was also helping me open portals. And so you would imagine a very white light. And this is what you can do, is imagine a very bright white light. And in your imagining that, like, through spirit communicates through thought. So that's our attempt to do it. But I can actually see it behind my eyelids. So when I close my eyes, there's a spiral behind my eyelids. And I've actually just learned how to close it. My guides have been working with me because I've gotten myself in a lot of trouble with dark energies because I didn't know how to control it. But when I open it, it's a spiral. When I close it, I see a circle with an equidistant cross, and it is like right behind my eyelids. So that's what I was doing there.
Yeah, that's and I just love that it was. I had just happened to, so I lifted my infrared camera up and then took a quick snap of these pictures, and I was like, "What the heck is this?" Like you just you just don't expect something like that.
She scared me when she scared me. And she's like, "What's that on your forehead?"
Yeah, I was like, I was like, "Quick, take a picture of me, see if it's on me," and it wasn't.
There's nothing there on her. No, she just had a normal, yellow and orange face.
Yeah, it was
kilometer.
Yeah.
So I know that I was able to help someone because when we went back, while you're getting that up, I'll just say this: when we went back to the bed and breakfast, the Airbnb, between investigations, because Ripley's was a little bit earlier. And then we went to the old jail. I could hear the chirping in my ears. My guides were telling me to stop and meditate and clear and all of that. So I stopped, I was clearing and meditated. And I kind of went out into this trance. And I asked them, was I actually able to help anyone leave? And in the immediate moment that I asked them, I felt this vibration go through my head. And this woman was behind my eyelids. I could see her behind my eyelids. It's like not in my normal psychic space. I see it behind my eyelids. And she had like yellow on, she had brown, she kind of had that 40s look. And then she disappeared. And then I was seeing other spirits. I was seeing other spirits too, but I don't know if they were just saying, hey, but her, I know I helped her. Or you and I helped her leave.
Yeah, that was, just a incredible experience. And right now I'm setting it up so that you can hear audibly. Let me just pull up the share options here. So multiple and all.
Ripley's has an interesting history too. And it used to be a residence. It was actually a castle that was built in the late 1800s. And then and then some people bought it and it became an upscale hotel. And there's some scandal there. Back in the 40s, it just stayed there like $3,000.
Yes. Julie, can you hear my audio when I play it? I just want to, here it is. Advanced, I just want to computer audio. Okay. I'm going to share.
Okay.
Oops.
Let's see how it sounds. I hope it comes across clear.
Yeah, me too. And then here, and we're gonna go. Okay, so I'm going to make sure. Let's see, stereo high fidelity. All right, tell me if you can hear this real quick. Can you hear that?
No,
That?
no, can't hear it. Did you share sound? You have to share sound.
Yeah, I thought I did, but let's see. Try it one more time. And yeah, so this is going to be a really interesting one. Uh, this is, hold on one second. All right, so I'm sharing here, and then let's see. And are you seeing this?
No.
Hmm.
Maybe if there's a way just to share the sound, that would work.
Yeah, I prefer that. Yes, okay. Just because it's looks crazy.
Okay,
So
so I see that
sharing.
that you're sharing sound.
Oh, good. Okay, so now I'm going to share again, and then share sound. Um, okay, and I'm going to advance this all the way to this one particular part, and I'm going to explain what this is. And I'm sharing my screen now.
No, just their
Okay.
sound. And maybe that's all you
Okay.
need to do is just share the sound.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to go here, and this is.
Yeah, and while she's doing that, I'll tell you too about this portal. I did not know that I had this ability until just very recently. And my guides have been trying to tell me this for 2 years, and I didn't know what they were talking about. It just didn't make any sense to me. And then they told me to go take some selfies. And so I knew what they meant. They meant my infrared camera, because I use my home security for taking getting orb pictures, because I really don't need to go to places to get pictures of orbs and unusual phenomena. All I need to do is take video of myself at night late with the infrared, and I get some interesting things. So I have one. After I did that, I have one, and I was doing some things. I was actually trying to close the portal, but it opened it instead. And I put my arms out like this, and there's an orb that comes up like from me up straight. There's one, you can see it flash in my head, and it goes straight up. And then there's another one, and I'll be posting this on my Instagram. And anyway, if anybody wants to see it. And then there's one that comes out of my arm. And now this is the one that's creepy. It comes out of my arm, it shoots straight up. And I showed it to another medium friend of ours, Melanie, and she, who's also on Evolve Me. And she said, Julie, there's a face in your wall. You need to go back and look at that again. And so I looked at it again, but I actually got it up in the ceiling, and you can see it's a face. It's a man's face, came out of my freaking arm. And then I had another one where I was like doing stuff, and one came out of my hand. You can see the flash in my hand. It goes out of the hand. I slowed that one down.
Oh yeah, that one. I love that.
And that was a face, and it was not a nice face. I mean, it did not look like a friendly face.
Yeah.
So.
And I always say this, and she didn't believe me for the longest time. When I first met her, I was like, and I did a reading, and I was like, you know, you're a portal. You have like a portal on your head. And she's like,
you're nuts.
I'm like, I'm just telling you what I'm seeing, and it's crazy. Because you know, you could clearly see what was going on. Like she had like so much activity coming out of her head. And I've never seen anything like that.
Now I have it on video. I'm starting.
Now that's proof that you can believe me.
It's evidence. It's evidence that suggests there's just something strange going on with Julie Starr Parker.
Yeah. And I'm gonna go straight forward and say I can prove that. No. Okay, so here's the video. So let me tell me if you can hear it.
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. So we are, for some reason, it is not giving me the numbers that I had originally. But I'm pretty
Yeah.
close. Let's see.
I have a night vision on my phone. Maybe I could just do that.
Yeah, try that on your phone.
Oh,
Oh,
that's funny.
do you hear that? Oh, this is
Yeah.
coming across.
Let's see. This is actually not the video that I had. Give me 1 second. I had several of them come up.
Yeah, you got much better than I did because mine kept quitting on me.
Yeah,
It would just turn off, and the guy said, the tour guide, he said that happens. The spirits will shut them down. And my
yeah.
camera kept shutting down.
Oh yeah, I think she only has like 2 seconds or something like that of video for each.
For the old jail. I did get a good one I still haven't sent to you of an orb going right by your arm while you were talking on the spirit box.
Oh, I would love to see that. And we probably have to cut this into a few parts. There we are. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can hear it. Just
perfect.
ignore my voice on there.
So, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, so when we asked if they were having fun, they said, and I believe it was good spirits. So let me see, 41, 03. Okay, a little bit, and this is us walking through the jail, and let's see. Here we are. Okay, ready?
Spirits? How many spirits are here?
They said 6. Can you hear that?
And you can hear them saying something, but of course it's not as loud as the white noise.
Oh yeah, let me see.
6. Yeah, I heard that.
Sorry. How many spirits are here?
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
I heard that. 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so we did hear a story about and they called him oh my gosh, it's
the executioner.
The executioner, yes. So this is the story we were told in the beginning.
And this is at Ripley's. This is at Ripley's.
Yes. And so this was a man. So this when it was a hotel, it was very exclusive, and it was for like the upper crust of people. And at the time, it was I believe it was $3,000 a night or $200 a night, which in our time now would be $3,000. In the way inflation goes.
Right.
So and the thing about it was that you don't have to put your name or any information about you. It could be very
anonymous.
Anonymous, yes.
You got the cash, baby. You got the cash.
Exactly.
Today.
Yeah. and so it became a situation where people would do unsavory, nefarious things there. And so there were 2 recorded fires there. Oddly enough, they happened at exactly the same night. They were only in 2 areas, 2 rooms in the bathroom. The first one, they found the woman. She was in the tub with a wet towel on her face, dead. The fire was in a small corner, and it didn't actually hurt anything. Then the second fire was just under the first fire, and it was they found a woman in the bathtub with a towel over her head and a fire in the corner. no, and nothing else. And so what they found out was that I guess the executioner, they call him, because the reason they call him the executioner is because the only trail of him that they have is his signature marked as an X. So they don't know who he was, but apparently he murdered 2 women in one night, and now is who they call the executioner, and who is keeping the spirits there. And you know, the energy in there was really stifling. There's a little girl there that I feel that some of the other spirits are protecting, and and oddly enough, the other spirits are afraid of this executioner.
Yeah.
He is a very dark energy, of which, you know, that we were told in the beginning, you know, if you are very sensitive to energy, like dark energies, then don't go in that room. And so it was funny because Julie and I, being adventurers, we were like, okay, maybe. But the other spirits that were protective were very kind in telling us to not do it.
They said, stop. We
Yeah,
walked up the door and it was like, stop. We walked a little further and it was stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 4 times they told us to stop. And so there's this one piece here that's coming up where it's a sound. It sounds like somebody is being choked. And and then I can't remember what I said. And then somebody said 6. And then somebody also said smoke. So I believe this was, I think it was Betty, one of the women that was killed. So she did, she was suffocating, she was choking, and obviously smoke. And then after that is while we were walking towards the room, and you're going to hear a whole series here. So let me get it to the right spot. Here we go. And that is 41, 46. All right. So at this point, you're going to hear the person being choked sounding. Here we are. Okay, ready? Now listen carefully. Did you hear that? It was like that. Ready?
Yeah. Yeah, I heard something. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then here we go. I'll do it one more time. Great. Yeah, it was like that.
Yeah,
like
you
there's.
Yeah, you can hear it. Yeah.
And I think you actually can hear me saying, Julie, I think somebody's being choked or something like that. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, there was, I don't know if you got that one. There was that one where we were going to turn the spirit box off because it was distracting and we wanted to tune in psychically. And then they would say, speak.
Yeah, they would speak. They don't
want you to turn it off. And then when I was opening up the portal, after I opened up the portal, it was a woman, I'm sure it was a woman, said, he's coming. And then the spirit box went dead silent.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that was incredible. So, hi from PR. Have you ever seen a circle? Let's see. Sorry about that. Let me see this. And have you ever seen a circle with a spinning light on a wall, like a circle with a light spiral kind? Yes, we have actually, and that very much sounds like a portal. It sounds like a spirit coming through. What is your take, Julie?
I don't know. I think that's very interesting. What it reminds me of is one time when I was in bed and I woke up, and this was when all of this really started to open up for me. So, Indira, think about, I don't know if things are starting to open up for you, but I woke up in bed and there was this big white 3D sphere. It was white orb, and it had little wings that were flapping, and it was moving towards me. And I thought I was hallucinating or having like hypnopompic hallucinations, but it was so real. And then my dog started barking at it viciously. So then I know, oh, the dog sees it too. And then it went poof. And I have ideas about what that was that I won't share here today. But that's what it reminds me of. So there's nothing that surprises me. And I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Andrea says that, wow, I've tried to look into this, but haven't found anything. Yeah. For me, when you're saying like it's like a circle, it looked like a spinning souls of light or lights. Yeah.
I'm going to say it's a portal that opened up in your wall. Yeah. And for people who think, wow, well, that's, you know, how do you prove that, Fayon? I've got that on video too, a portal in my wall. You can see it. And you can see an orb come out of it. And then when I slowed the orb down, it turned into the face of a Native American. And we have that with a feather on his head. And he's looking right at me. Yeah. And we have that on Evolve Me somewhere. That's been posted.
Oh yeah, I have it. I think I can
it's actually in the promos. It's actually in the promos, the man's face. That came out of my wall, and you can see the cone shape in the wall. So Indira, I would say, yeah, and that's what it feels like to me, as a portal that opened up, and you could see it, which is really
and absolutely, I know, and it absolutely. And I would suggest, Andrea, to go and possibly get a nanny cam that has night vision, and Amazon sells it. It's only like $29, and you could get a very inexpensive one. I think it's Kessia is a good brand. Get that point and shoot. I mean, Julie and I, all we have to do is just point and shoot, keep our video running.
I'm gonna get mine.
Yeah, and I just the other day, I had one that I pointed it towards our bed and just let it run while we're sleeping. But before I even went to bed, and I was looking at the monitor, and they were coming out of everywhere. I have a portal in my bedroom that's in my dresser mirror that they just shoot out of there constantly. Mm-hmm. So this is probably what you're experiencing. Absolutely.
This is mine. It's just a simple little home security camera. I bought it for $30 on Amazon. Yeah, and it just goes on night vision, put a little SD card in it. And that's how I get some of my very, very best spirit photography.
Yeah, I mean, she's it's funny because and Julie also does she, you know, to get the activity going, sometimes she will just start dancing and like to ABBA and, and
that's like, how I get it going. Yeah. To get the energy up and just dancing and getting the vibe up, and that will bring them out. And a lot of it's my spirit team coming out. I know it's my spirit guides because I call them in, and I call in my ancestors and my grandmothers to come dance with me, and I get some really cool stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely. And good. Let us know, Andrea, if you get more experiences, and if you do capture anything on film, let us know. Send it to us, and we can discuss it even more. You can even be on the show. Yeah. So and that just sounds incredible. I would love to see an image of that. And you know, as a kid, I used to think that I would see it. Oh, absolutely, that wonderful. As a kid, I used to see things like that, like in my walls and things, you know, that, and it's funny that you brought that up because and it was like this spinning thing, and I remember as a kid I would just go like this and follow it, and it was really, really strange. And I'm very excited that you got that experience too, but I thought it was like more of my imagination as a kid, but now seeing orbs, they're very similar to that. You know, they flash, they blink. But I haven't necessarily seen one now that has spiraled like that. So it would be really incredible to see that happen. So hopefully you catch it again. And if I can ask, does this happen frequently, or has it happened more than once, or just once? And we'll just wait for her to respond. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
incredible.
I think a lot of people, she said just
Oh,
once.
just once.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have experiences. A lot of
Oh, yeah.
people have experiences and they have stories, and we sure would love to hear your stories. Oh, my sister saw one too.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
we have the gift of clairvoyance, and the ability to see spiritual energies. So
Yeah.
that's interesting. So just, be open to, there
Yeah.
may be other things that you see.
Oh, on another time. You know what's interesting? Why don't you, if you can think back, Andrea, think back of what was going on in your life or at the moment, of that you can maybe pinpoint as to why that happened or as to how that happened. Because sometimes, just as we were just talking about, Julie will dance around and get the spirit activity going. Sometimes, let's say you're going through a hard time or something is happening, or even a really great time. Maybe you can match that up with what was going on with your sister. I mean, obviously you two are both open, but what made that manifest? And did somebody recently pass? Something like that. Definitely look into it even further and investigate, because one thing that is really important to us is investigating. It's great to see these things, but wanting to know more about it, by just poking it, just trying to figure out where that kind of comes from. And then maybe even, if it's benevolent, then maybe trying to get that to happen again.
You know what?
In a nice way.
She said one in another color. I'd be interested to know what color it was, because I see color and I see spiritual energies with my eyes, and I'll see them as white, blue, purple, even red. I saw it a week after my uncle passed. My sister saw one 10 years after. So,
oh wow,
yeah, you've got something very interesting there. And sometimes
Family
these
energy.
colors denote different types of beings. So depending on the color, like purple can be angelic, and the blue is like could be ultra terrestrial, high spirit guide, and white. And she saw blue and white.
Blue and white, and my sister
And
saw
she
one
saw
black.
Black. The black may not be so benevolent. So I see black energies a lot too.
Yeah, and mind you, not all, like when they say shadow figures, not all shadow figures are dark, but black energy, tends to, not be so benevolent.
Elementals. Now, Theon and I had a manifestation when we were in Portland, and we had been at a seance and we had been in very, very deep trance. And we came back, we were back talking, being our chatty selves. And we had a manifestation of I think they were coming through my portal, but there were little tiny black points of light that would move and fly around. And I said, Theon, tune in. And what are these little points of light, black points of light? They were elementals. They were nature spirits. And it was cool because we'd see them at the same time. And she'd say, did you see? Yes, they were pointing at the do you see that one? Do you see that one? So black crazy. Isn't always something negative, or
right.
It isn't always something negative.
Yeah, but it matters. The point is, if you're feeling the energy as negative, then you go with your feeling. Like I've come across people that have had and it's very interesting. They called them shadow figures because it was an outline. A shadow figure had literally saved this woman's life. She was young, and the shadow figure would watch her, but and she was never afraid of it. And then one night she was laying on the couch, and there was a mirror right there, and she saw the shadow figure come up, and they picked her up. She goes, and I knew it wasn't a dream. He picked me up and took me to the other room. And just as that happened, the mirror crashed down and could have killed her.
Wow, that's amazing.
Isn't that incredible? And
amazing story.
Yeah, right. And a lot of the time, spirits will obviously are trying to help you, but some spirits come in and cannot manifest fully. You know, maybe they're new or something like that. So they do have like that shadowy look. And then there are the dark ones that sometimes it's almost like when you look at it, it's like it's that kind of black where your eyes can't adjust. That is the darker, I would
Yeah.
say, energy.
And you can see them in different ways. I had I have seen them as just like a black tar, very like solid and opaque black tar. And then also kind of transparent. And I've seen some very strange things that were dark, shadowy, black. And even with my lights on, even with my lights on, it wasn't like waking up at night in the dark and it's the coat hanging. And my dog has seen it. My other dog has seen those and would bark. It was just but there's a sinister feeling that goes with it.
Yes.
When you know
Yes.
it's something negative, there's a sinister feeling that goes with it. And that's when you need to start doing some clearing.
Yeah.
And cleaning. Clean your house.
Yeah.
And clear. But sage is not the best thing to use.
And she doesn't mean with like products or anything. She means like spiritually
No, I
clean
mean
your
with
house.
products. I mean, cleaning your house is it's like a very old cultural method, old wives' tale kind of method. And it's what we learned in, white magic and witchcraft, a little bit of ammonia and water, and really clean your walls and your baseboards. So cleaning helps, actually cleaning your house. And then sage, I wouldn't use sage because sage brings in positive energies, and it's not a real powerful smudging. Frankincense resin looks like little pebbles. Dragon's blood resin on charcoal that you light, like it's incense charcoal, not charcoal for the grill, and smoke your house up. And leave a window open so that stuff can go out and the spirits can go out. But those are a couple of ways you can cleanse your house if you're seeing something dark in your house.
Yeah. Yeah, and she said, when I was young, I used to have a lot of sleep paralysis, and what I saw and felt wasn't friendly. So yeah, you definitely, especially when you're younger, they do tend to feel that children are open and they're innocent, so they tend to want to sort of, visit.
And putting a glass of water to offer it to spirits, I have not heard that, but I was advised when I was having some troubles, and I've had some troubles, okay, to do an offering and a little ritual and an offering. I was advised to do that and lay down boundaries with them. A medium told me to do that. Bad advice. I will not offer them anything. Because that just,
you don't give it energy.
It made it worse. It made it so much worse. It's like it creates, you've given me this offering. Now we have some kind of bond connection, relationship. And I opened up a hornet's nest, and it took me a long time to clear it. So I, at your own risk, that I will say, about any kind of offering, even a glass of water.
Yeah. And do it.
If it's something dark, the best thing to do is ignore it. Ignore it, ignore it, ignore it. Don't give it any energy or attention.
Right. Yeah. And and doing an intensive clearing on the space as well as yourself is going to be important. One thing that Julie and I like to utilize is mixing Himalayan sea salt with baking soda. I actually use it as a salt scrub, or I bathe with it, just to keep clearing out any kind of energy. After the clearing, taking sea salt and putting it on the on your door, like on the doors of what am I saying? Doors and windows and things like that after the clearing, because anything that you if they haven't come completely out, you're going to keep them in. But yeah, and then there was that one I just learned, and I thought it was amazing, was the deflection. So that's breaking the mirror, and breaking a mirror and putting it in your front door window. That like deflects all of the negative energy from coming in. Right.
Yeah. So these are, little methods. Now, if it's something, very like that's good for evil eye and people sending you bad mojo.
Yeah.
But if it's an intelligent dark force, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it requires a lot more work than
Yeah.
that. I'll actually, if you feel like you've got something in your house, and if you have these feelings, you're hearing things, you might be hearing things, you might feel touched, something might touch you or sit on your bed, and people report lots of different things like that. One thing I'll do that works pretty well for just run-of-the-mill stuff is a little salt in the bed. I'll sprinkle it in my sheets, because if I'm going to be bothered or annoyed by any of that stuff, it's at night while I'm in bed, because during the day I'm too busy doing whatever I'm doing to notice too much. But when you're in bed at night, that's when you're likely to have some experiences if they're in your house.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Julie does, can advise on clearings and things like that. So, Andrea, if you have any questions or or want to maybe get a good plan on what to do, and need to tell Julie a little bit more about your situation, message Julie on Evolve Me, go ahead and tell her how she can reach out to you.
Yeah, well, on Evolve Me, you can also go to my Instagram, which is Julie Star 33. And that's where I'm starting to post some of those videos I have, the little clips, the orb videos, and I'll just across time be posting more of those. They're really interesting. And then my website, Julie Star Parker. So I'm on Evolve Me. I have my website and Instagram.
Yeah. So many ways to get a hold of Julie. So yeah, no problem at all. That was a great segue, because it really is important. And as we keep saying, it's great to have these ghost adventures, but the most important thing is to do it safely. The whole idea of what Julie and I do as I call it spirit admirers. As spirit admirers, we are here to communicate, but also respect the space, respect the spirits, as well as try to help them cross over. Because just think about what their situation is. A lot of spirits that are still earthbound are afraid, or don't understand what's going on. Maybe they had a traumatic experience. So it's always good to have that respect. When I see ghost hunters on shows and things, and they're poking and they're saying negative things to get some sort of confirmation or whatever, it's wrong. It's like somebody coming into your house and then trying to agitate you. Of course I'm going to be mad. I'll do whatever it takes to get you out of my house. So a spirit just has more capabilities. So, for the most part, they're just spirits that are for whatever reason, still in the space. So it is their house. It's not yours, so go into it with respect, just like you would go into any stranger's house, and, and speak respectfully. And, if I know many people that have, lived in a house all their life that was haunted. Well, they were still there before you, but also you can coexist. When you come into a space, move into a space that connect. If you're feeling activity, put them at ease. We're here. We're going to take care of the space, and with you, and you're always welcome. Something like that, to offer that kind of respect and acknowledgement, because a lot of the time they're bored. They love communicating with with humans, or with people that are still in the physical, because they used to be, right?
Right.
And they a lot of them miss that, which is why they haven't crossed over.
Well, I can give you a personal example on that, of actually a personal example of my friend that I advised on this. she never, people, when she moved into her house, people always told her it was haunted, and she moved it. She's lived in there for like 15 years and said she never had any experiences except for one with her deceased father. And that in itself was an interesting story with her, but I won't tell you that one right now because I want to tell you about this. When she started packing up to move, she's moving, you know, you start doing renovations, you're moving, paranormal activity can pick up. She said, Julie, I did not ever think that this house had any spirits in it. She said, but I'm starting to smell things. I'm hearing things at night. It's keeping me up. I didn't sleep at all last night. And she said the next day she walked into her storage room and there was a woman standing right there, like I'm looking at you, and she was wearing a gingham dress, but she was turned this way, like she was talking to someone, which, you know, I'm that very well because like a memory that's imprinted that she happened to see it, because she doesn't know she's a medium, but she is, and that's starting to open up for her. And so I went over there and I walked into the storage room and got very, just the prickles all, I got the spirit prickles all over me, and kind of tuned in a little bit and asked them what's going on and why are you making all this fuss? And I told her, I said, you know what? They're sad you're leaving. They're acknowledging that you're leaving and that they really have enjoyed being here and just kind of watching of your family while you've been here. And what you need to do is just acknowledge that to them and acknowledge them respectfully, and that to thank them for looking after you, and that you are leaving, but there'll be someone else great that's going to move into this house, and then ask them to leave you alone at night, that you need to sleep. And so she did that and didn't have another experience. Nothing else happened. Everything got quiet. She didn't see or hear anything else.
Oh,
yeah.
What a wonderful story. But, you know, and it's sad too. I had a very good friend of mine, that I've known for many years, grew up in, which is why I was saying this, grew up in a house. She lived in upstate New York, and there were, she had insane activity where, and possibly why I was always so fascinated with it. And it's funny because she is also, she actually belongs to she calls it the Spooky Club, a bunch of people that go off and do similar things. But she and her two brothers and her parents lived in this very old house. And it like, I still to this day, like this story, I don't know. Anyway, it's crazy, and I know she's telling the truth because she's so she it's a spirit of a little old lady. She would kind of manifest every now and again, but loved her and was very protective of her. Obviously must, miss a daughter, granddaughter, something. And her mother would make her dresses every day. And so what she would do is she would lay out the dress, the pattern, and put it on the bed. And the next morning it would be fully made.
Wow.
And it was like, she goes, and it happened like several times where it was like, the mother's like, I don't know what the heck happened. I just laid out the pattern and now it's made. And
that's kind of like, show me some evidence. That's like,
yes,
yeah,
I know. And it sounds like crazy, but if you knew her, she is, like a poli-sci major and all, like she was, like I if it didn't come out of her mouth, I wouldn't believe it. And then she tells me this other story, because the woman was so protective. One of her brothers, they were always, playing around because she was the youngest, so they beat her up or whatever, like, tease her. And one day her brother was like chasing her, and he just slammed against the wall and got raised up like he was by his neck, like, don't do that again, and then dropped him down. And she's like, and he was terrified after
I've
that.
heard lots. Yeah, I've encountered lots of well, I'm not going to say lots and lots, but a few people have had those kind of very physical, especially with kids.
Oh yeah.
But I know adults too have had these kind of physical things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do they appear at night? Any particular reason? You know, that's a really good question. Why do they appear at night? I don't know that they don't appear all during the day. You know, it's like my friend Jen, she saw some in the day. I've seen some in the day, but we're more likely to notice them at night because that's when everything gets quiet. You know, that's when everything's quiet, it's dark. And if you're visual, like you seem to be, Indira, and I am, and Theon is as well, you can see them better at night when the lights are lower. You know, it's a very subtle energy.
Yeah.
So other people say because the veil is thin. I take to where I don't even go to bed. I'm working late at night, so I don't even go to bed till 2 and 3 in the morning. And then because if I'm going to have any experiences, I'd rather it to start be getting light outside than pitch black, because I do get a lot of experiences. So I don't know that there's any particular reason other than that just maybe when we notice it more.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is, and I haven't even told you about this. So I've talked about I talked about how my stairway is a portal, and it's backed up into this one mirror that I talk about in my bedroom. The past few days, and it's very strange. I have been seeing this one, and usually they're transient spirits. I'll be watching TV and I'll just see people walking up the stairs, just real like flash images. But in the past 2 days, this energy, it's a man, because I could see him, and he's wearing this like baby blue shirt. I keep seeing him in various spots near that area. I was making something because my kitchen is sort of right there. And I was making something and I just kept feeling eyes on me, and I just stared, and he was there, and he didn't flash right away. He literally, I could see he had like dirty blonde hair and this blue, and it was a t-shirt, and it looked very modern, like maybe somebody had just passed or something like this. And I was like, okay. And I'm not usually, I see it too much for me to, but then I was walking to my office. He was there again, flashed into from the other room. Like I'm not sure what's going on, but it's been happening. So I may have to put some cameras up. But it's like
Do it.
I know, right? The fourth time. Yeah. Well, I do have some security cameras by that stair. So I'm gonna check it. But it's been very strange. And even my son and I were sitting there, and he was like, he kept going like this, and I think he was seeing him too, but this one's kind of sticking around a little bit. Who knows? We'll see what happens. I mean, he doesn't feel negative. I think he just passed, which is why I keep seeing it's like a younger guy with this baby blue sort of like I live in Florida, so come on, everybody wears like light colored clothes because it's too hot outside, and t-shirts. But yeah, it's really I haven't really acknowledged it because I've been a little bit busy, but it's happened like 3 or 4 times now. So
when you get some quiet time, I suggest that you communicate with him.
Yeah,
because maybe he's not sure where to go.
Yeah, that's actually how I feel. I feel bad in hindsight, as I'm talking about it, that maybe he's trying to ask me, and I've just been like back and forth everywhere, so I haven't paid attention too much, but I will. I will tonight now, and I'm gonna film it. So and see what happens. I'll ask if I.
Do you want to share one more of the EVPs before we sign off?
Yes, I would, because I would love to talk about where when we were walking to that room.
Yeah.
And okay, good. And so I'm going to start. Yeah, get to it. I love these, and I'm going to still share some more because there's so much communication. I have it all written down. So okay, so 2142.
Yeah, you could put some of those like make short little clips and put those on like Instagram and, all the Evolve Me socials.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I actually started doing that. And I will be it's just a lot to go through. My goodness.
It's a lot. That's the thing, we just have recently come back. And so we wanted to talk about our experience and share something, but it takes a lot of time going through the footage and then really isolating it and to share it.
Yeah.
Unless you're like me and your camera stops working.
I know. Well, and we haven't even gone through our recorders. So there's so much.
Yeah.
I mean, when we were there, we were hearing it really clearly. So there's just so much. All right. So this is where you hear them say smoke several times. And I'm just going to let it run through a little bit. Here, ready? Oh. Hear that?
Yeah, I heard
smoke.
it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she's saying smoke. And then
here it's like this is nothing but white noise. It's just white noise and you hear a voice come over it.
Oh yeah. And that's the interesting part. This is right after you hear her choking. This is literally 20 seconds after.
You probably have Betty there.
Yeah. And so smoke. And it sounds like a woman's voice, clearly. And then again, to confirm the first, they're going to say smoke again. Here we up here because you're just going to hear a lot of noise and then smoke again. Hold on. So she's trying to acknowledge, what happened to her, because we were asking how many spirits are here. Okay, ready?
Let me find out.
Did you hear that? That was a man now saying smoke. So
yeah, I heard. It didn't come across very clear, but I could hear that it sounded sort of like that.
Yeah, and then play it one more time.
Yeah, that was much more clear.
Yeah,
you can definitely hear him say smoke. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was saying, where is the room? Where's the room we were looking for? Okay. And then this is like, they just kept going the whole time. So this is literally, I'm doing by milliseconds.
Stay on in that spirit box. She gets in there and she's like having a telephone conversation with these spirits. She's like, and she'll get this motherly vibe about her too. Like,
I know, because I get worried about them, and I'm like, are you okay? Is there anything?
Yeah.
Because it is. It's like, I think I don't want them to be, afraid, and I know they were afraid, and that upset me a lot. So here we go. And this one, when we were looking for the room, and they said here, and they were trying to show us where to go.
Oh, yes. It's
there. Hold on.
That was one.
Yes.
He's going here, and then and this is
that a spirit? Was that a spirit voice or one of us?
No, it was a man's voice. Ready?
Wow, that was like, I didn't hear that one. That's like three words.
Yeah, ready?
It's just, yes.
He goes here, like that. And then because we were trying to find the room, and he goes here.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, I heard it. I think one of us was talking in there too. It's probably.
Oh yeah, we were. You and I were. Yeah, and we were trying to find the place, and then I didn't even catch that he said here.
Yeah.
I
heard the here.
Yeah, and then just a second later, they wanted us to go downstairs, and let's see, where they, and we were talking about, maybe I should just let it run through here.
This room is I feel very cold right here. It's a person? Is it a person or a mannequin? It's a mannequin.
Oh, I just want to stop and say, do you remember this part where we didn't know if that was a person or a mannequin? That was right by the scary room.
I was more freaked out by the mannequins in Ripley's museum. I was like, is that a person or is it a mannequin? It's too creepy.
Yeah, it was more creepy than, let's say, a
Than
spirit
the spirits.
yeah, than the executioner. All right, and then so this is where they're telling us where to step. Ready?
These are good. These are good. These are good. Yeah, it's a mannequin. Did you say stop?
Oh, they're saying stop. Excuse me. I don't have my glasses.
They stopped. There were like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, and this is beginning because we're trying to get to that room that apparently has the executioner in it. So you hear stop, ready? I'm gonna do it one more time, and plus I'm gonna let it run through because there's at least 4 times that they say it.
Yeah, it's a mannequin.
Stop.
Did you say stop?
Stop again.
Should we not go over there?
Do you keep? You hear it in the background. It's going stop, stop. There's like several different voices. Yeah,
I can hear it.
Yeah,
it's hard. It's just I don't know how well our listeners or watchers can hear it though, because it's not coming across very clear. Because you hear it's so loud with the white noise, but you can hear somebody is saying something.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, this is being recorded, so you guys can go back to it and hear it too. I will try to cut this a little bit. But here, maybe you can hear some of these other ones. Ready? Oh yeah, that one is over now. But yeah, and then the following one, actually the following video, because it does in 5-minute increments. It starts off going stop, stop, stop.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
The wildest one to me was when they said he's coming.
Oh,
I have that one. Can we hear that? When they said he's coming, and this was after I had opened the portal. And it was kind of freaky, and the woman.
Oh, yes.
You could hear her like very upset. Like couple of words came across like she was yelling, and then it cut out. And then he's coming, and then everything goes.
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. That was actually, this is the next one, and you hear him going stop again as soon as I turn it on. But yeah, no, and it's funny because is the executioner in the room, and he goes, it's him. And then and this is the time, so maybe I caught that too. So let me just let it play through. Here we go.
Should I just go back down the stairs? Those are mannequins. Those are definitely not people. They've been there this whole time in that same position. Yeah.
You see, it's stop. They keep saying stop, but also there's a real fear in that mannequin thing. Right?
There is.
I just want to say we had a lot of fear of that. That was the clearest one, right?
That
Stop.
was a good one.
He said stop.
Yeah, that was a real good one.
Right? I would just want to hear that one more time. That was like that one. Wait, ready? Okay.
Yeah. He said stop. He doesn't want you to go in there. Yeah. Is this the executioner's room?
Hear that? And then they said stop, and then watch, and 1 second they're going to say it's him.
I wish I heard. I wish I heard.
Oh, that's hard to hear, but I can hear it here in my headphones. Let me just try to see if you can hear it's him.
I wish I heard.
That was it. He goes, it's him, like that.
Yeah. It's one thing. It's, you can hear them so well when you're holding the spirit box, but then you're recording it and then you're playing it on Zoom. So it's just getting degraded 2 times.
Yeah.
But the best thing for anybody who has an interest in it is do a paranormal tour respectfully, and try it out with these spirit boxes. It's very interesting. But make sure you do your protections and don't take anybody home with you.
Yes, and always say goodbye and cut it off there. And if anybody is interested in knowing more, and especially about the equipment to use that we use, and I've been really into the equipment a lot lately, and I really want to get that where you can see there. I can't remember what it's called, but I have it actually in my cart. In one day, hopes to get it. It's a little pricey, but I will suggest if anybody has any questions or wants to know a little bit more about how to do their own ghost hunting, please reach out to us, DM us, reach out to me on Evolve Me, or any of our Instagram or social media. But yeah, so this was so much fun.
I know. And if anybody is having any troubling experiences, I also do consultations on Zoom, and I can read into your situation and also do clearings or help you to do your own clearings, or so you're welcome to reach out to me if you're having any issues, paranormal problems. Yes. I've experienced several of them. So I've learned a lot about how to deal with things like that.
Yes, she is definitely an expert, and I learn something new from her every day. So definitely knows a lot.
Dayon, do you know what they call an expert? You know what an expert really is?
What?
A former drip.
Oh, that's funny. See, and you always say that you're not funny, but she is sometimes freaking hysterical.
I have no sense of humor.
But anyway, she is she definitely knows her stuff, I'll say. But yeah, and it's really important, especially and if you're getting communicated with and you don't understand, that is important to really be able to protect yourself and also to understand it better, because this is part of us just as much as our physical life. We're also eternal beings. So understanding them is understanding yourself. So yeah,
now you
right?
need to put that in writing and put it on your business card. I like that. Understanding them is understanding yourself.
Yeah, it's the truth. And I think I think that's why I've always been fascinated with it, because I've always wanted to get a peek on the other side, and and really understand what they're going through. Not just a peek, because in a sense I do see what's going on, but to understand these spirits that are still left here in this sort of state of limbo, for them to one, get help and to understand them a little bit better. So
yeah, agreed.
Oh, and I just love you, Julie Starr.
I love you, Thea.
Paulina, I love you.
Philip.
Lots of names.
The lady with the long name.
That's why I'm just Thayon. I'm like Cher that way. Um, but yeah, so I'm so excited. We're gonna see each other again in a week. We
Yeah,
should make this like every month kind of thing.
I
I said I'm
know.
gonna visit you in October or September. I'm gonna do more visiting you.
Yeah, we need to do some more of that. I mean, we live like 14 hours driving distance apart, so it's not like we can just go next door and, but
Nothing
anyway,
will keep us apart, Julie Starr.
we will have more to report. We will have more to report in 2 weeks. But I think that's when Nick is going to be on in 2 weeks, right?
Yes, yeah, Nick. He is he's also on Evolve Me, but one of our friends from the classes that we took. And we also did an ITC, which is Instrumental Transcommunication class with him. And he has just taken this and ran with it and has, some amazing things to share. So I am really excited for you all to come. I believe it's not this Wednesday, but the next, because we're every other Wednesday. So that's the 14th. So August 14th, definitely come back. We have Nick, who is just amazing, going to be on our show, and we're going to do some fun with spirit boxes and ITC work.
Yeah, great. Hey, I have a lot of stories to tell. He's been on several investigations, working with a group of people on different paranormal investigations.
I think he's actually going to the Sci-Fest with us.
Oh, cool. We'll see him there.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, everyone. Thank you all so much. We went over time, but that's just because we had fun. And we will see you in 2 weeks. Love you all.
Love you all. Bye.
Bye.